Hey guys, we're doing What's Your Plan this year and how to get ready for life after high school. So Miss Pierce had this amazing idea. If y'all don't know the awesome Miss Pierce, she's one of the counselors. I'm sure you've seen her. They do the counselor talks with all kinds of great information that I hope you're going to. So she's going to tell you what we're doing today just for you. I think you'll love it.
So, as Ms. Flores said, we've been talking about what's your plan all year, and I've been pulling kids into the office, we all have, and talking with them about what's your plan for after high school. And I was talking with some students about college life and what that looks like, and realized that some of them didn't really know. Like, a lot of you haven't been to colleges yet to visit, and going to college isn't like sitting in class all day and having to go all day, every day, like it is in high school. So we thought it'd be a good idea just to talk about some of the differences, like what it's like in high school and what it looks like in college. So
I am the high school side, if you will.
I'm the college side.
I'm not sure how that works out. How come Miss Pierce has the more fun side? Because college is fun. Like, I think kids just don't know it's really a great time in life. It's a life between, it's kind of one of those odd times if you're not quite an adult with taxes and insurance and all that yucky stuff, but you are kind of an adult because you're on your own.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. High school is mandatory and usually free unless a student chooses to go to private school.
And college is voluntary. So it's your decision to go. Nobody comes, there's no truancy officer, there's no attendance clerk, it's voluntary, but you pay for it. So you pay whether you show up or not. That's one of the biggest differences.
Yes, you can be absent every day. They're still going to take your money. You can fail. They're still going to take your money.
Yeah.
High school credits are awarded for completed courses.
And in college, semester hours are awarded. So they call them hours. You'll have a class is 3 hours instead of 3 credits. It means the same thing, but that's what they call it in college.
Or when you take a science or a language, you have a lab, and it's a 4-hour class. So they're by hours when you hear credit hours.
Yes, and I think we're going to talk about this later, but when we say hours, one of the things that will help you remember that is that that's literally the number of hours you spend in class that week. So a 3-hour class, you're only going to go to class 3 hours a week.
Yep.
Usually on like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so if it's a 4-hour class, you've got a lab, you're going to have a 1-hour lab later. But it's considerably less time in the classroom at college than it is in high school.
So you don't
But you
take
learn a lot.
history every day for however many hours.
Right.
Take it 3 times a week. We're going to talk a little bit more about those things. In high school, there are 2 semesters of 18 weeks each, with each semester providing you 4 credits.
But in college, each semester is 15 weeks long, and you can choose how many credits you're going to take or how many courses you're going to take. And it varies from 2 to 4 hours long for each class. So 12 hours or more is a full-time student, less than 12 hours is a part-time student in college. And you can go to college part-time. That's another big difference. In high school, you don't go, there's no part-time high school, so you can go to college part-time or full-time.
So like if you take 12 hours, that's 4 classes if they're 3 hours each a week.
Mm-hmm.
How many hours did you take your first semester?
I took 16.
Me too.
16 is like your standard full-time college student
Me too.
schedule.
And most kids in college don't graduate in 4 years unless you take 16 or more at least or go to summer school. One semester took 21 hours, thought I was going to die.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That was a lot. I was in class all day and night and it felt like forever.
But that's your choice
That's
in
your
college too. So
choice,
there's
though.
different reasons that people do that.
They want to work or all kinds of reasons.
Yes.
Okay, in high school, lunch time is provided during the school day, which lasts the school days from 8:30 to 4.
But in college, every student's schedule is different. So a 3-hour course means 3 days a week. We talked about that, but there's no lunch hour and time that everybody goes. You're really, if you ever visit a college campus, you'll see students walking around, they gather in different parts of the day. It kind of looks like they're lounging around a lot of the time. That's part of what's fun about college too. But there's no, lunch hour, there's no block lunch, there's no set times during the set schedule. Everybody's schedule is different.
You could take all your classes at night. You could have an hour break between classes. You could have classes not till noon. Whatever works for you. I never liked that hour free, did you?
No, I didn't care for the Tuesday, Thursday classes, they're longer, but you guys are used to that because they're an hour and a half long, which you're used to. But that was hard for me. I had a college roommate who likes to sleep in. She was not a morning person, so she always took classes in the afternoons. I like to get mine out of the way in the mornings and have the rest of the day free. But you have that choice at college.
To study, or as I did, go to the lake
Yes,
and have fun.
yes.
And
A
there
lot
was
of time to be social in college.
yes, there was a semester I took no Friday classes. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So you could build it if you only want classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, night, morning, whatever. It's awesome. In high school, class sizes are limited by state guidelines. So, most of your classes are right about 30 or whatever.
But in college, there are no restrictions on class size. This is important as we're looking in career cruising and you guys are looking at possible colleges or pathways you want to take. Some of us prefer, if you just know that about yourself as a learner, you do better in a smaller class. You want to look, some colleges will advertise that way. We offer small class sizes, or they have classes that they call a lecture class. Those have up to like 90 kids in the same class. So there are no restrictions though for college classes.
Like I went to a smaller school, Stephen F. had about like high school class sizes, except for physics had 400 in it. But a lot, if you go to UT-A&M, pretty much all your classes are going to have 400 in it. Good and bad to that.
It's all about what works for you as a learner. So we want to be, that's why we're talking about it now, so that you know these things when you make
start
those
thinking.
decisions.
In high school, tutoring's offered before, during, and after school.
And in college, well, number one, you pay for your tutoring, but your teachers will have specific office hours. Your professors will have office hours, and that's when you go in and ask them any additional questions. But tutoring is not typically something your professors will do. It's something that you will, could be a tutoring center or other services like that available, but you will go to your professor during their office hours to ask additional questions or get help.
I was in the library every night for math tutoring. It was hard in college for me because they go so fast. So there are students that tutor and things, but I always went into the professors and talked to them before a test, and this is what I'm studying, is this right? And they would give me great hints.
Oh yeah.
Go in and visit your professors during their office hours. In high school, homework is usually graded. Quizzes are often part of the course grade, and tests can be retaken or made up.
In college, they don't take as many grades. Few grades are given, and tests are mandatory and cannot be retaken. And usually, you can make them up with permission, but not always. So, like Ms. Flores said, if you're going to be missing a test for some reason, you would want to talk to them ahead of time. But really, they expect you to be responsible and to be there. So that's a hard adjustment. I remember when my first year of college, or I was just talking to my niece too, who's a freshman, and she was saying, I fell behind, my grades aren't as good as I wanted because I missed a test and there was nothing I could do to make it up. Yep, that's the way it is in college.
It's a zero.
It's a zero. And that is hard to come back for. And you pay for every hour that you take in college. So you really, really want to be responsible about the class expectations.
And you often have 2 grades, maybe 3. So like when I made a 44 on my first math test in college, before I went to tutoring, after that I went to tutoring. I thought I only had to study 2 hours for a college test. So wrong. So wrong.
Yeah.
That really hurt me because we only had 3 grades, 2 tests and a final. And so a 0 as a third of your grade sinks you. Or 44. I got a 44. So that is a big adjustment.
It is.
Nobody checks homework. You have to study. So.
And the same with attendance. I think a lot of them have like a 2 absence attendance policy. So again, there's no Mrs. Keeler calling home and checking on you if you're not there. But if you miss more than 2 classes, like this, they'll take your money. You will still pay for that class. You can continue to go every day. But if you didn't meet that requirement, you don't get the hours at the end. You won't get your credit. So it's a big deal.
In high school, if you cheat, sometimes you get a 0 or pass, or you get to take it for a 50. What happens in college when you cheat?
In college, in most colleges, you might get asked to leave the college.
You're kicked out.
Of the school.
Of the school.
Yeah.
Done.
Yes.
Plagiarism, meaning copying something from a website and putting it in your paper.
Using somebody else's paper. Because a lot of stuff is available online now. You can do that. So.
Or if I'm looking at Miss Pierce's paper, they just say, Miss Flores, you can leave, and you can go ahead and I'm gonna let the dean of admissions know, you can go ahead and withdraw from, I mean, there's no playing.
And you don't get your money back. It's not like you get a refund because you're not attending anymore. So it's a big deal.
I remember I was late once and the professor just said, you can go ahead and go. And I went, but I was sick. He didn't care.
Yeah.
You can go. It's a lot different. But good. We love it, but it's different. In high school, I love this one. Reviews are provided for major tests and semester exams. What happens in college?
In college, it is rare to receive a review, but there are often guidelines to help you study. So you will find study groups, and kids will say, hey, we're going to meet here at the student center at this time and get together, and they'll create their own study group, and that's a great thing to take advantage of because you will typically not get a big, long review from your professor to talk about everything that's going to be covered on the test.
It is very different. In high school, grades are numerical with 70 as a passing. Anything below 70 is considered failing.
And in college, it kind of goes back to the basics. Grades are usually an A, B, C, or D, and it's a 4.0 scale. So an A is a 4, B is a 3, and so on. So it's simplified, and there's no more different weights for your grades once you're in college. Everything's weighted the same.
In high school, reminders are often provided regarding due dates for tests and projects.
And we use those reminders. But in college, they give you a syllabus that at the very beginning usually on the first day of class, and it's going to give you all of the assignments and all of the due dates for the rest of the semester. And that is very important. Again, you're expected to pay attention to that and note that. And I will tell you guys, I still have a recurring nightmare about missing the date of something. Because, they would give it to you in the syllabus and that's it.
Never talk about it again,
and you show up to class and a major paper might be due. So that's the way it works in college. It's just different.
In high school, Scantrons are free.
Oh, yeah.
In college, you have to bring your own.
Yes.
You
So
ever
if
forget
there
your Scantron?
is-
Oh, it was bad. Bad.
If there is any kind of orientation or, it's the same like we say in high school, come to those informational meetings because they give you a lot of insider tips. Same thing for college. I didn't think about saving quarters to use the wash machine, buying stamps. We used to send letters. Things like that I didn't save money for, but also blue books, which are books used to take tested in Scantrons. You have to go buy them and bring them to your class. And nobody's going to pull you aside and tell you that unless you go to those little informational meetings. You need a little.
And remember, if you missed that test because you had to run all the way across campus to get to the bookstore, you lost those 30 minutes on your test. Remember, we already had you don't make it up. We're not telling you that to scare you, but just it's something you have to be aware of, and we don't want you to fall before you even start. But it's a change, a lot more independent. In high school, graduation requirements are specific and the same for all students with some flexibility for electives and difficulty levels, so you can take these different levels of classes.
But at college, the graduation is based on a degree plan. You choose a major and your schedule is designed around that. They still have counselors at college, actually, and they're going to help you lay out your course choices a lot like we do here. But it is more general to that degree plan.
Oh, I love this one. In high school, parents can meet with your teachers and check on your grades as well as academic and behavioral issues. Your parents can do all that.
But in college, the students communicate with the teachers. College professors don't usually communicate with the parents. And some of you, hopefully a lot of you, are already expressing an interest in dual credit classes, and that's something that always comes up because if you are enrolled in a dual credit class at NCTC, you will get a taste of this because suddenly you're responsible for communicating with the university, not your parents, because you are the college student there. And that's the way it is when you're a college student. It's very exciting.
A friend of mine teaches college, and a parent tried to call about a grade, and he said, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, they can.
I mean, it was that, and the parent could not believe it because y'all need to start advocating for yourself. That means speaking up, you. So when you go to Maine and you want something, you email your counselors, just like you do here. But you need to start being advocates because you're about to really have to be one.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, counselors and school officials schedule your classes with student requests.
But in college, students register for the courses and choose the schedule. Night classes are also available. So you have more choices for night classes than you do in high school, but also you're responsible for choosing your classes. So there's not a counselor who's going to call you in and say, they're there to guide you, but they're not going to call you back in and say that's the wrong class. Because remember, you paid for all of those classes. So if you want to take pottery and you don't need it, they'll let you. I took pottery. I took a lot of extra classes at college because they're fun. But you do pay for all of those, and they'll let you register for any class that has a seat in it for you to be in.
And if you get to the point where you think you're graduating and you missed a class, guess what? You're not graduating.
Right.
So just watch that. Like, you have to sign up for the right classes. In high school, classes meet for about an hour and a half each day during a 5-day week.
And this is one of the biggest differences, and we've talked about this already, but because I know we talked about a lot of the stuff being independent in college, and that might sound stressful. And high school is a lot of fun, but in college you have so much time to do other things and to explore and get involved in other ways that even though your schedule, you might have a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday class for 1 hour a day, or Monday, Wednesday, Thursday classes for 1.5 hours each. Or Tuesday, Thursday classes, sorry, they'll be Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. It can look all different ways, but you only go to class for that hour a day or hour and a half a day. So you're not spending 8 to 4 in class all day like you do in high school. So that is, I think, one of the biggest things, and we kind of started with that and ended with that we want you guys to know when I hear people come in and they're like, I'm just going to be so done with school by the time I'm done with high school. College is completely different and fun in an entirely different way than high school. High school's a lot of fun, but college is great too. And it's great in a lot of different and exciting ways.
So those were very serious ones, but there's also so much more to college. In high school, you have a lot of fun. But in college
you have a lot of fun too. And it's different fun. It's like age appropriate fun. So like what's fun for kids in high school, and then there are college parties and college events and college games, and
college games are so fun. It is so intense.
Sororities and fraternities, if that's your thing. The band is just bigger and better. Everything is just on a bigger, grander scale. Even at a smaller college, but they have all of these things, and it's different because now it's for kids who are young adults. And so all of those things and again, you have the freedom to come and go as you please, which adds just a whole new level.
And what the fun you're having now is age appropriate. The fun you're going to have in college is going to be age appropriate too, but it is a lot of fun to go to college. We were all laughing in my office right now going, if I could only go back.
I wish.
In high school, you have to dress. You have a dress code.
In college, you can roll out of bed and go like with the drool on your face if you want to.
In your pajamas.
There's nobody enforcing a dress code. You can wear whatever shoes you want. It's kind of like walking into a store, no shirt, no shoes, no service. Like you do have to have shoes on and be dressed. But otherwise, bun on the top of your head, whatever, like roll out of bed and you can go to class. And you'll see that a lot, especially at like those 8 a.m. classes. I said I like to take early morning classes. Kids would literally just roll out of bed, put on some flannel pajamas and be there. So
in high school, you have to pay for food and you get one tray of food.
In college, you have like a meal plan, usually in the cafeteria, and you can, if you're there for lunch, it's like buffet style, and you can go back up and back up and back up most of the time.
And then you also have potatoes. You can go back 5 times and get chocolate pie.
That's what, if you've ever heard of the freshman 15, they call it that. There's this whole thing because kids usually gain weight when they go to their freshman year of college because they're using the cafeteria like that, or utilizing that because you pay for it. So they go in and you eat as much as you can.
I used to eat chocolate ice cream with peanut butter. I'd go put so good. Got that freshman 15, had to work on that. And then we were just talking about the freedom you have. Like I think when you go from Kilo to Maine, there's more freedom. There was freedom when you came from middle school to here, as there will be when you go from high school to college.
Yeah, so there's a lot of choice. We talked about that with the time you spend in class. So I think when we look at, block lunch is kind of that on a little much smaller scale, but you have to learn to manage your time there. You have to go to tutoring and you get to do clubs and fun stuff. And that's kind of what college is like. So you've got to take care of your coursework, you have to take care of your business, but then you have this freedom to do all kinds of those intramural activities. It really is very similar to what block lunch looks like now that
For
I
your
think about
whole
it.
life.
But that's your everyday life. It's like block lunch all day, every day. Taking care of your business, going to see teachers, doing your academics, and then having time to just hang with your friends or participate in a variety of activities.
And I think college would be like a scale. You know, you put things on a scale and they go like this. A lot of fun and a lot of hard work. And you've got to find that balance, because if you have too much fun, you're going to waste a lot of money and fail out. But if you only do this, you're going to miss out on this part of playing intramural sports, going out with your friends. Balance. Play hard, work hard. And that's when kids are successful, when they find that balance. You can't do either too much. It just doesn't work.
No. You can have it all.
You can have it all. So we hope you have it all. So we wanted to share today some of those differences. And teachers, if you thought of a couple of others, please feel free to add in the difference of high school and college. You know, we had to stand in line to register for classes, and now you don't do that. It's all computerized. There's a lot of differences y'all are going to have that we didn't. But I do think cheating is probably a lot easier for y'all now than it was for me, because we had to go to the library and research things. And so it's just differences, good and bad, for y'all. But college is so fun. I really hope you get to go to college and that you enjoy it. So hope that we shed a little light on high school
Versus college.
college. Have a good day, y'all.